Hey, how are you guys doing? I have to apologize that I have not been posting regularly, but I've been really busy. But you know, this video I want to talk a little bit about something that is close to my mind, the secret of practicing even when you don't have the time to practice. Like right now, I just don't have the time to sketch a lot. I'm out here walking Cassie, my Jack Russell, and well, I want to tell you about this little secret that I have. Let's go. Very often you're out somewhere, maybe lunchtime at work, and you wanted to sketch a scene because you see something that is very interesting, but you don't have your sketchbook or your pen and pencil and watercolor with you. But guess what? Why don't you just sketch it in your head? It's possible to continue to practice sketching. Think of how it feels when you draw the first line on your sketchbook as you observe the scene, how you would compose it, how you will frame it, and that's something that I'll encourage you to do. Basically, visualize the sketch that you want to make, even though you couldn't. And that's just one way of practicing. And in fact, if you think about practicing, it doesn't have to be with a pencil or a pen and a sketchbook. Actually, it can be practiced in your head. Okay, let me find a place to sit and then I can just do a bit more of this video. Hot Pot is such a nice place. I come here very often with Cassie, and she enjoys it too. And you can see that she's really enjoying herself, relaxing right here. Alright, back to the story. So I think visualization is also used by a lot of sports and athletes. Sports people like to use it because it's a way of finding optimal performance. In a way, they are visualizing their success, how they would execute certain actions or moves, or how they perform on the field. I think sketching has a lot of similarity with sports and athletic activity. It really is a function of how your brain and your hand and your body coordinate to execute the sketch. So in that sense, visualization is not new. It can be used to kind of fine-tune the way you think about your composition, the way you want to lay down your first line, and you can actually visualize how all that come together in a sketch. And I think it's a technique that's worth sort of running through. So before you actually sketch, it's also quite interesting if you could visualize how you go about setting up your materials, how you would observe and how you would actually lay down your lines and your wash eventually. So that is something that you can do without necessarily having to have a sketchbook and your material with you. You can do it anywhere. You can do it over lunch. It's a 5 minutes exercise. It's not stressful. In fact, it is actually quite relaxing. So I really suggest that you might want to give it a go. So as a sketcher, you could start to clock your 10,000 hours. People talk about how you need to spend many hours to improve your craft and your skills. And even when you don't have your sketchbook or materials with you, you could practice by visualizing. Or you could visualize how you start your first line. For example, that's a very important aspects to train how you think about it. In fact, even if you're actually going to have a sketching session, it is useful if you were to actually spend time visualizing how you would sketch the entire scene, how you would start, and how you would color, and how you would break the whole sketch into a step-by-step approach. So the whole visualization has a lot of benefits. It's not just when you don't have your sketchbook, but even when you have your sketchbook, it is extremely useful. For a long time, I visualized my first line on the sketchbook. I will visualize how long that line is going to be, how hard I'm going to draw it with my pencil, what is the gradient or angle that I would make. you know that actually the first line is very important, because after the first line, everything else in the sketch is damage control, right? This was shared years ago when I was sketching with a famous sketcher, Kia Kian from Penang. He says, look, after the first line, everything else really is damage control. And so, before you lay down your first sketch, you really want to visualize how you will lay it down. For a long time when I practiced visualization, I would almost feel is the word. I would feel how the paper surface would be. In other words, I would imagine the feeling of the surface of the paper. Even as I visualize or imagine how I would draw the first line, as I look at the scene, as I look at the roof, the angle of the building, or any subjects that I'm after, I think that is the degree of realness, if you like, or reality that you need to get towards when you need to practice, when you want to practice visualization to help with your sketching. So make it as real as possible. If you can't sense it, close your eyes maybe and feel it, right? Feel the paper, feel the sketchbook, feel the pencil or pen that you're using, how you hold it, and how you draw your first line. That would be actually a very important tip. I think if you practice that, sooner or later you will get the hang of visualizing even before you actually start sketching, right? And that actually helps in all your sketching activity. So I hope this simple tip of visualization, I think it's one of the secret of sketching. Successful sketchers use it with and without sketchbook, but it allows them to practice sketching all the time, and it's something that you can do, and I hope you can incorporate it into your arsenal of learning, and that there's no excuse. Even when you don't have sketchbook, you can now continue to practice. So all the best to your sketching endeavor. Have fun. Make sure that you continue to practice and improve and enjoy it. Okay, bye for now. And bye from Cassie as well. Bye bye.